little after that. How are they? What is the amount that they have?
It's a plastic tab that is, so it's just a normal Fitzgerald's mount, like just the same as an apple print, same as a,
So you guys are hanging it needs a little.
So we hung it with a tab. There's 2 tabs on each side of the top corners. I'll show you what they are.
So the Velcro stick type stuff.
You could do that if you've got that, but there's no Velcro on them. But if you've got that, you can absolutely add that on.
Okay, I think that's how I'm going to do it. If you guys are happy with that, I'll just Velcro on them.
Yeah, and I think John said he's got some stuff that he could give you as well to help with that skin. But I mean, I can try and answer those different questions.
Just because communication has been hard. He doesn't like me too much because I told him to talk about it a couple of times. The way he says
I don't want to know.
exactly. So, and
He's on holidays.
It's been
Are you speaking tonight?
Like, I think he's already,
Yeah.
he's like,
Or I laugh at that bit.
yeah, nothing.
That's alright.
And that's why I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And they are like, Kelly is gonna, I was like, you guys are so funny, handing to the only person that actually does, you know what I mean? It really bothers me.
No, yeah, it is what it is. That's right, I'm not on that committee next year, so. But anyway, look, yeah, it's interesting. I don't want to see
I
that.
don't like it.
John's very soft.
Yeah.
It's very sweet, very soft. It's just like, yes.
To give like all the prizes to the he gave me so much trouble. He called me and he's like, this is not good enough, blah blah. I was like, mate, I am giving $3,800 for the product. And you calling me to say this is not good enough.
Yeah.
I think so.
Huh?
Oh yes. As soon as you're ready. Okay.
So folks, as soon as you're ready, have a seat, finish your conversation.
Okay. Guys, take a seat. We're going to get started.
Shut the fuck up.
Thank you everyone, make yourself comfortable.
Don't you want to get home to bed?
Bar is just downstairs.
No.
Toilets across the hall. Exits. No, I don't know what you know where the exits are. Just check.
We are live streaming to regional members, so no swearing.
No, I told them that we're going to be on about 5 minutes, 20 minutes ago.
Oh, okay.
That's all right.
We're all good.
What about Mark's mum?
My mum's on home away starts soon, so she'll...
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I don't know. It's very good. So guys, as you might guess, this is a nice casual gathering. So my name's Des. If you don't know.
Is there anyone in here that doesn't know?
And I'm one of the team who are helping out organising the Orloff Awards. And my understanding, and please correct me if I don't share accurate information, my understanding tonight is to promote, to inform you, to encourage you to participate in the Orloff Awards. So, it's fairly casual, so we can chat. It doesn't have to be like a formal presentation for you guys. More than happy to bounce back and forward. You can, if you have any ideas, suggestions, how we can do things better, please feel free. More than happy to. So the Orloff Awards are new, the inaugural Orloff Awards. So we are starting from virtually a blank canvas, and so we're kind of inventing things as we go along, but there's a lot in place already. And we've really looked at other competitions from around the world and cherry-picked what we think, what we hope is very relevant to WA Pro Photography. So if you've experienced another photographic competitions, either through entering or participating or judging, you might find that this is a little bit different, kind of unique in a way. So I thought I'd just run through it, but feel free to, as I go through this, is to maybe make a mental note of questions you might like to ask or provide us with feedback. Really am keen for feedback. How can we improve? Now, can we make it more attractive? Because we want as many photographers to participate. If we don't get participation, it doesn't run again. And I think the industry needs something like this for a few different reasons. Yes, it's good to have a photographic competition for your own personal development. It's also good that if you achieve awards, and there's lots of different awards available, so it's not just the winners or categories with the overall winner. You might receive a silver or a silver plus award or a gold award or a gold plus award. That's good for you, for your CV, for your business, for your marketing. And that's important. We need as much help as we can in this ever-changing industry. The awards are well established. We have got a magnificent band of sponsors. These are guys who have shown faith. So we've had no track record with these awards. They've never existed before in their current form. And these guys have generously supporting us. And the way we've designed this is their sponsorship is the prize money. Pro Photography, apart from Ilford, which I'll mention shortly, every one of those people are giving us the prize for the category they're sponsoring. We take nothing from it. So everything that they give goes to the winner of the category. Ilford are very kindly donated us some cash, and we are giving $3 grand cash to the winner of the awards, which is really cool and quite rare these days, because sponsors usually don't like dealing with cash. They want you to buy stuff back from them. And that makes sense. It's tough in this industry. So that's, Ilford have been amazing. They've been very supportive and very kind. So we really want to appreciate it. So, we want to see lots of Ilford papers when it comes to printing time. There's a really nice story. So just, I won't labour on this, but it's a really cool story. What we wanted to do is that what we didn't want to do, say, is name the awards as an acronym. So it's very easy to go, it's West Australian Professional Photography Awards, let's throw the sponsor's name in here and end up with this acronym. Very uncreative. So the thinking is, looking around the world, there's some really cool competitions like the Head-On Awards or the Moran Awards that are up to the family. But you can even look further and go, there's the Oscars. Well, that's actually the Academy of Performing Arts, or I'm not sure the official name of the organisation runs, but they don't use it. Everybody knows it as the Oscars, and you win an Oscar. So our thinking was, let's give it a name, and the criteria was, let's go with a prominent West Australian photographer who has history, someone that's not with us anymore, and someone who was a prolific, renowned photographer. And this guy flew under the radar for many years for himself, and then I came across him through the State Library WA. And he is amazing, prolific photographer of the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s and 60s. And if you ask anybody who lived in Fremantle during the period, do they know Izzy Orloff? I was having dinner with my in-laws, Lynette and Graham, lovely people, very Fremantle people. He played for Fremantle Cricket Club, and his son David played for Fremantle Cricket Club, so Fremantle. And his studio was in Fremantle, and I said, Graham, you ever heard of Izzy Orloff? Izzy Orloff? Everybody knows Izzy Orloff. He photographed the family, or the portraits, the sporting teams. He was one of the most prolific photographers ever noticed, and his collection of photographs have been donated from the Orloff family to the State Library, and we can all access those images. And they photographed West Australian society of that time. Around the Fremantle, I've seen a photograph of Market Street in Fremantle flooded. How's that happen? The water is up that high in the middle of Fremantle. Unbelievable. So he's a lot of just street life, beach life around Cadoga, prolific photographer. So I contacted the State Library and I said, we would love to name our awards. Can we talk to someone in the family? They said, sure, no problem. Put me in touch with Dr. Renee Hirsch. And she, yes, he was my great uncle. And so, yes, we'd be delighted if you could do that. And then she said, by the way, my niece, who is Izzy Orloff's great-grand-niece, is a photographer in Melbourne. Her name's Alana Rose. She's a documentary photographer, and she's been trying to push his notoriety. And so I spoke to Alana Rose. And she says, love it. She's coming over, bringing the family, she's going to present the award on the awards. And so there's a really nice support connection there, and it's a lovely connection. When I first looked at him, he immigrated from, initially it said Russia. I thought,
Did he really?
He actually immigrated at that time in 1910 from Ukraine. Oh, that's much nicer. So we like his now. And so he immigrated and studied photography in Paris for many years. So he came to Australia in 1910, went back, studied photography in Paris, and then set up a studio in Fremantle, and was just amazing. So fascinating guy, really nice connections there. And so now we have our awards we can call Izzy's instead of Izzy's.
Come on, that was just for me. I know that.
It'd be amazing if we found out some connection family-wise. Key date, I'm not sure how up to date these are, but be aware of the key dates. That's changed. Sorry, this is later date. Is it 14th of July?
17th of July is the
17th of
opening
July.
of entries. So next Monday. Monday week.
And then
And
closing
the
day?
closing was the.
That's all right. Forget that.
Yeah, I can't remember that one.
No,
Can't remember
no,
that. It's
no,
4
no.
weeks. Open for 4 weeks.
The website has all the key dates
Yeah.
and other information there as well. There's a lot of information on the website, and we're expanding that as we go. So shortly I want to put up a free FAQ page, so if you guys ask questions, it's actually probably going to appear on there because we've missed something and we need to cover it. How are we going so far?
Awesome.
Are we good? So, just with the awards, there's a little bit different. Excuse me. So one of the things is, if it's a print-only competition, then probably more than half the prints never get exhibited. So why do we print? It's expensive, it's time-consuming, and in this day and age, to see printed entries for a competition is a little bit rare. So we've kind of done a hybrid version. So initially it's digital images only, which makes it easy to submit. So you prepare your digital images and submit them. No printing, matting, postage, dropping off, anything required. That's what gets judged in the open judging forum. Now the awards are a little uncommon in the sense that most competitions, you send your images off and you hear, did I win? Did I not? I didn't win. I wonder how I went. I've got no idea. All I know is I didn't win. Or you won. Did I win by a lot? A little? There's no gauge. So the two main criteria when designing the awards was that we want people to get a score, a ranking. Where did I fare? I want the feedback. Am I mid-range and I'm looking to develop myself further, or I'm okay with where I'm at, or I didn't achieve the level that I wanted, so I'm going to work on advancing myself, or was I doing really, really good and I just didn't know it? We want some level of ranking, which is part of the reason why we enter the awards. The awards will also, you will see, every image will receive at least one comment back from the judges at the time of judging. So they will comment on the image, and the commentary is along the lines of being constructive and is to help them develop and improve as a photographer. So judges are instructed to say, give constructive feedback to the entrant on this image so that they can learn from the experience. So yes, I know where I got in terms of ranking, and then I got a bit of a rationale, I hope, from why I got that score. So that's part one. There's a ranking, you know how you did in the entire competition. The problem with scoring sometimes is, depending on when the image is judged, is it in the morning? Is it in the afternoon? Is it, I've just seen a whole series of images score 9s and 10s. The judges might be feeling we've scored enough 9s and 10s. The next image is not getting a 9 or a 10. I don't care how good it is. There's that kind of concern. So maybe there's concern of how to judge it. Makeup, the judging panel might change. and they have different perceptions and priorities. So the scoring system, although helpful for feedback, may not be perfect to determine the best work. So far, what I've seen, the best way to determine the best work is to put the top images up in front of the judges and say to them, choose the best images. And that's their job. And I can do it by comparison. Which one is best? Which print is best here? Well, this one has this, this, and this one, and I can debate it and discuss it and vote on it. But it's by direct comparison. The score that they got is irrelevant. It just is out the window. And so far, to me, that's the most effective way to determine the best work. So the competition is the twofold: is we've got the scoring system for feedback, and then the print assessment by comparison to determine the best work. And that bit is done behind closed doors, so that people don't know. So you might know which images got the highest scores, but they may not automatically win the category or the competition. Does that make sense? No? How I've explained? Yeah. So that's why 2 stages of judging. So what will happen is that if you become a finalist from this stage, and so what we will do is a magic formula we have is we take the top aggregate score of 40, and those images all become finalists. If we don't get enough prints or images from that, we then go to the aggregate score of 39 and to see if we get 5 or more from that. So the judges will always be judging at least 5 or more folios. As entrants, you don't really need to worry about technicality, you just really want to enter your best work.
So the finalists for each of the categories, there'll be 5 in each of the categories?
Minimum of.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're
maximum?
prints.
We might have said that because what can happen is that, say we go with the aggregate score of 40 and we get 3, and then we go from the aggregate of 39 and we get 10.
Yeah.
Sure.
We take
End up judging 10. That's a nice one. And so this will be, then if you become a finalist, you're then invited to print and map your work. And we'll provide guidelines as to where you might go, what the specifications are in print size, map size, etc. That's pretty straightforward.
What's the rationale for having to map the work?
It looks better.
Okay.
So for not or having to make?
Having to, I prefer to not. Like,
Yeah,
Oh.
I understand. And there is a trend to that.
yeah.
So the images are going up at the State Library in an exhibition.
Yep.
And so the matting provides a consistent size. And I mean, if that changes,
It's just an added expense.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
You know?
We're kind of thinking, this is the rationale, we're kind of thinking if you're a finalist, you might be very happy to print because you're a finalist.
Yeah.
I'm happy to print, yeah. But I'll never
all the
use
mat-
that mat
yeah.
ever again.
Yeah, that's it. So, this may have changed, because I think we did this before the release. Yes, it's changed. What I should do is go to this. Oh, no, just talk about it.
Yeah,
You guys
it's
have
only one.
questions.
It's only one category.
So with the categories, there was a discussion. We had the landscape category and subcategories of landscape aerial, landscape urban, general, and that was it. And I got a phone call. Where's wildlife and nature? Jeez, that was a hot phone call. So we missed that one. We missed that category. And sometimes it's hard to know what's in demand. I really don't know. Boudoir photography, that was a big hit for a while. Yeah. So,
Oh,
What?
You said woodlife.
Wildlife, nature.
We're in the
give it a go, you might start something. And I mean, we're setting up, but over the years ahead, this will evolve and it will change probably every year. It'll ebb and flow, and we'll, you know, what's in demand now. So I don't know how much longer landscape urban aerials or landscape aerials are going to go for. We see a lot of them, but there'll be a time when we might move on from that. Which one?
Was it?
We were trying to understand if his image can enter the competition. There is
Ooh,
another
I
question
love-
though,
I love
because
these.
there is a lot of information on the website that says
It is.
that it can only be one image only. What about, because he's done an aerial stitch up of the city. So there's 29 images of the city. He stitched it all together in a panoramic. In my
one
view,
image?
in my
Yeah.
view, it's one image.
One photo.
Yes.
But there is 29 images in that photo.
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's
going to be a
In
problem?
your
No.
rules, it will explain if panoramic stitches are permitted or not. So I'm pretty sure in landscape is, yep, you're good to go, and HDRs and all of that.
Cool.
Whereas some documentaries are in-camera captures only. We are allowing multiple exposure in camera. But
What you guys don't want to do, don't want to see, it's a lot of Photoshop work. Is that what's happening there with that rule?
Depends on the category.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like fine
It's
art,
so dependent.
knock
Oh,
yourself
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
No limit. And even in other areas like wedding open and wedding camera craft only, so wedding open is knock yourself out. But for camera craft only is that it's minimal post-production, basically raw conversion only in that category. So it's every category we've tried to adapt as to what we might consider the industry norm or what the industry expectations.
The wedding in camera craft only means no retouching of skin as well, or what do you mean by that?
Basically, it would be, and there might be more details in there. I can't remember what was like skin retouching. Anything you can do in raw conversion, I think is acceptable.
Mm.
It's the Photoshop elements that we're trying to minimise.
Yeah.
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 Is that, yeah.
Pixel modification, yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So you can
I
make
really
the
like
pixel lighter or
this.
darker or different colour, but bringing in additional pixels or removing pixels, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like this
Yeah.
because it shows like who is a photographer and who is an editor. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, what we're going to be asking, which reminds me, I need to put this in the entry in this one. We're going to ask who to acknowledge the retoucher of images in certain categories. So if it's a photographer, great. If it's not, required to nominate who your retoucher is. Now, it won't eliminate the image, but during the judging, we may say the photographer is this and the retoucher is this person or a different person. The idea there is that if the judge is going to be awarding the retouching of the image, going, this is amazing, we've taken it to the nth degree, the original image might have been okay, but the retouch has just taken it to a new world. You're going, oh, hang on a minute, that's not the photographer. So that it may influence their decision. And I'm interested in feedback, but I'm thinking that's fair.
I think that's amazing. Because
So-
we are rewarding photographers, not editors. That's right.
That's, yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
the art
hoping
of
for.
photographing that people are missing out a little bit.
Yeah. Does that make sense, Carl? Would that help you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, yeah. We're really nervous that we want to get it right, and it's not quite right. So in terms of categories, a lot of info on the website. It lists all the categories there. With the awards, just quickly, there's the overall winner. There's subcategories. There's no award for a prize for a subcategory, but you are nominated as. So, for example, portrait photography subcategory of pets. So you'll be the best folio in the pets subcategory. So they know, great, I was the best folio in pets, but you may not win the portrait category. Portrait category will come from all the categories, become a finalist, and the judges will look at that. And that might be a mixture of pets, family, singles, whatever the subcategories are. Does that make sense? It is a little bit complex, I have to say. The idea is to cater, people want to, we can't have 30 different categories. We just don't have the population to support it. So what will happen is that if we get 2 pet folios entered, you won't have a pet subcategory. It's collapsed into the main category. So the people that enter the awards are still in the running for Portrait Photography of the Year, but with only 2 entries, we're not going to choose a winner out of 2.
So what's the minimum you need?
We've done 3. So 3 portfolio entries in a subcategory, otherwise it goes, it's merged into the general. We'll see how that goes.
Yep.
There's best print, so out of every subcategory? Certainly in every category there'll be the best print award.
I think so in every category.
Yeah. Then there's 2 ancillary awards. There's the Richard Waldendorf Award, which is kind of new, so that's to honour a recent passing, well, not talking about his passing, but to honour Richard who recently passed. And that's for the best landscape photographers, which is predominantly known for his landscapes. And the other one is the Orloff Award, and that's for the best people photographed throughout the entire competition.
The best photograph, do you say, or best people photograph?
Best people photographed, yeah, the photograph of people in it, no matter what category.
Cool.
And I think that's for the awards. There'll also be, so with the judging system, what you'll find that people can receive a silver plus gold, or gold plus award.
So there's the subcategory winner, so like pet, person, whatever, and then there's the
They're not an
silver,
actual winner.
And no, but they're
But
a
just like they'll be
subcategory
the
winner, they get
finalists,
a
yep.
certificate, whatever.
Yep.
And then in that category there's a silver plus, golden
Good
plus.
point. Not quite.
Not in the main like
Yeah,
portrait
so-
category.
Let's forget categories for a moment.
Okay.
Every image.
Just me or is it?
No?
No, it's probably not. It could be too shallow. So categories to one side. Every image, if they get a 7, 8, 9, or 10, will get either a silver plus gold, or gold award.
Oh.
So that's, and the idea there is to award good photography, and that doesn't mean just because you don't win something doesn't mean you walk away empty-handed. You might end up with a silver plus gold, or gold plus award. So you get a little certificate and a digital, and so you can promote yourself as I'm an award-winning photographer. There's also bronze awards, so I think if it's a 6, if you get a 6 you get not an award, but you get a bronze, but there's no certificate or badge or anything. It's just a feel-good thing. Okay. Then aside from that, there's your subcategory winners, and then your overall prize winners at category level, and then overall. Done that. They're coming up to finishing here, I think. So basically, the whole judging process. Again, this is online. If I've missed anything, then jump on the website. It is all there. Digital entries received online, so you upload them onto the website. Enter your details. Make your payments. Images judged and scored in the open forum. That's one of the unique things. There's not many competitions where you can sit in the judging room, right behind the judges, see what they score and hear what they say. It's pretty rare that you can do that. Finalists are chosen. They're then invited to print. So hopefully that's all of you guys printing paper. 2 weeks later, we do have a closed tour. The dates for all of this are on the website. And basically that's all incognito, kept secret. Portfolios are judged. Even the judges wouldn't. They might recognise the work, but we don't tell them who's won. And it's at the awards night that we declare who the winners are. And then we'll be exhibiting the work. We're currently in negotiation with the State Library, so that's where the awards night is being held. And the exhibition there, we're not sure if it's going to be 2, 4, 6 weeks on exhibition at the State Library, but that's pretty cool. We get it in there. And when it's announced at the awards night. So just a final word, I think, and then just any questions. The judging process is out of 10. You might be familiar with a different process. In fact, many competitions have nothing. You win or you didn't. So this is the feedback option. This is all available. This is no secret, but that is how.
Oh, it's on the website.
Yeah, it is. So there's some guidelines. We haven't reinvented the wheels. This has probably come from to a degree, but we have reviewed it. But we converted it to a score of 10. The reason for that is I noticed when people usually, you know, I've had people say, why don't I give it a 7.5? We give it a 7. What if I want to give it a 7.7? Well, you give it a 7. That fine detail really kind of doesn't matter, because really what we're awarding the image, is it a silver? Is it a gold? That's what we're awarding. It's just we've applied a number to the award. And so, you know, if we went down the path of giving it final point scores or a score out of 100, the same image in the morning might get 75, and it's judged by a different panel in the afternoon, it gets 82. There's too much variation in that style of judging. So the judges are nice and simple. Is it a silver? Is it a bronze? Is it a 4? Is it a 3? What are we trying to tell the entry? That's the score that we give them and a comment. And I think that's easy to understand. Okay, so please.
Other question, sorry.
Thank you.
I'm very new.
Just hold this live stream.
Good day. Does it do anything?
It's for the live stream.
Oh, I see. Good day, Des. How are you? You can't hear me though, can you?
Sorry, we have questions, guys.
Everybody into the wilderness. Good day. I'm about to ask Des a question. Thank you. Des, can you hear me okay? Des, I have a question. Thank you. I'm very, very new to competitions. May I ask, please, is it common practice? Again, I'm looking at this and think may have answered my question. Are images judged on the aesthetics, or is there a discussion on actually how difficult it would have been to achieve this photo to shoot? Is that because I don't know if that's. Is it taken on face value? Oh, that's beautiful. That's incredible. Holy macaroni, that would have been really hard to shoot.
So we are in in fact we had a 2-hour session just before we started tonight with potential judges. And that's the discussion we had. And it goes along the lines of that when they analyse an image, it's all encompassing. So it involves the technical, like camera capture and post-production stuff, specific. But beyond that, it's about the content. Is it a meaningful photograph? Does it convey some sort of message? The use of light, the use of colour, all of the next level of photography, the camera angle chosen. And then we look at even a higher level, like, is it innovative? Is it we've never seen it before? Is it creative? Does it move me emotionally? Does it have a narrative, or is it pure aesthetics? And none of that trumps the other. So one of the key points we're talking about tonight is that just because an image has a technical flaw, it's blown out the highlights, doesn't discount it, because it might be a very powerful, meaningful message. Now the technical flaw might influence the final score, but it certainly doesn't discount it from perhaps an award-winning image.
Sweet.
And we feel that that's important, because it's, we don't always think about f-stops and shutter speeds.
Yeah.
What does it convey and what does it mean? And it's that really higher level that we want to award. And so that's why we have a range of scores. And an award-winning image might have a flaw, but everything else just outweighs it. Or it might not have that, and it's just gravy. So if we can tick boxes, we can say this is good, this was missing, this was good, this was missing. All of that would elevate an image into a high level. The judges are diverse. They won't think the same. They won't have the same values. That's why we have a panel of 5, and we want that diversity, because the commentary, the scores, and the ultimate outcome, I think, would be good for the entrance and good for the industry.
Yep.
Is that sort of?
It does.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And is it a secret yet as to if an image was to go to print, how big it is? Is that not been released yet, that information?
It hasn't been released yet, but it will be within the without us making a formal decision yet. It'll be matted print. The matted print, I think from memory, is 40 by 50 centimetres or 16 by 20 inches. mats will all be portrait orientation, but the prints within that space can be any orientation and just within that space. And the reason for that is for the exhibition, it looks good and for everything to be uniform and it's the highlight is the images, the prints.
Okay. Yep.
That will be up on the website, shortly. But we're away off from the printing stage.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're focusing on the other priorities first.
Thank you very much.
But it's all in there. It's all good.
Thank you, sir.
Des, I know this is potentially a tricky question. How many entrants are you expecting? Because, like, I mean, if you're, putting an image in to be, to be potentially considered for an award, and there's 20 images in total, or there's 2,000 images, it sort of puts you in a different spot.
Yeah,
So.
as a guide, like historically, this type of competition, you might get, say, 500 winners.
Yep.
That's on a really good year. We've got no idea. Pardon?
The city of Subiaco World Photography Awards got 600 entries this year. That's just...
Yeah. And is that unusual? Historically for that competition?
No, they're very unusual.
Okay.
People are just entering everything now.
Bring it on.
Is that what's his name? Dale? Neil?
Oh, yes, Dale.
Yeah, he was a judge.
Hello, Dale. Yeah. Popular judge too. I mean, our biggest dilemma, and it's a lovely problem there, is how are we going to judge 600? We're actually planning for around the 500 mark. If we get more, that's a lot, we'll deal with that. If it's less, then we'll adapt. It's just, we really want this to take off. But realistically, it's the first year, it won't be as well known as it might be over time. It depends on the level of support. We really do need support. So what we don't want to happen is for people to say, oh, I don't think I'm in with the bull's roar of winning, so I'm not going to enter. Then we'd have 5 people. Something silly. That should not be your reason for entering. The reason for entering is your development, your personal development, your growth as a photographer to the technical and the creative, and your understanding of what makes a difference. It's a lifelong journey. And by participating in that and being prepared for the outcomes, whichever they might be, you will grow. And that's quite natural. And if you don't win something, I've got to tell you, if you've got great images, you're in with a chance, it's not automatic. It can be a bit of a lottery. Because you're relying on a 5-member panel who might have different interpretations, opinions, values. That's our figures around that, and we hope to adapt the awards to whatever we do happen to get. Who's thinking of entering? That's what I was hoping for. I think everybody online might like to enter too, yes? Oh, they're all nodding.
And you want us to spread the love around it?
Please do. Yeah. Invite your colleagues, your friends. Yeah. Even, do it as a group, enter as a group, help each other out. Back in the 80s, there was Peter Edwards, Roger Clark, Tony was part of it, Steve Lloyd Smith, Warren from Albany, and we got together in entering the awards, we print our work up and then we get together and critique them, like we were judges. And it was great because we practiced being the judge. As you will do, when you're sitting in those chairs and the judges are here and the images are there, you're all judges. I'm going to give that a 7. Judges got no idea what we're talking about. But it is a cool way to get thinking about image critiquing, image analysis. And then when you go to shoot, with some of that knowledge in your mind, you go, okay, I know that judge has mentioned something about this, so I'm going to shoot it from here. And maybe we get a better result.
Film and alternative.
Yes?
Film and alternative photography methods are
Is it
acceptable. Are acceptable.
Yeah?
Yes, and that's for the fine art camp.
Okay.
So, yeah, so when you have a chance, check out the info and the fine art and alternative processes such as film or cyanotypes. Yep, there's an option there. Fine art's very open. That's our go-to. That's great. Let's see what happens.
What's the entry fee?
Entry fees. If you're a member.
Am I the only one?
It is, no, I have to remember this, it's all on the website. So, folio is for a member is $80. That's 4 prints. For individual prints, so you can, if you don't have a folio of 4, but you've got a couple of cracker prints, enter them, because you might get Best Print Award. Is it $25 or $25 for individual? So that's for members. For non-members, it's $180.
5,000.
And yeah, there's a bit of a price difference. Now, can I let you in a secret? Membership is half price. And it's $100 plus your $50. For $150, you can become a member to the end of the year, and then you pay membership rates. So instead of paying $180, you pay $100. And if you've gone into more than one folio, you're straight ahead. I'll leave that one with you.
That's supposed to be a secret,
It's okay, lots of people won't know that.
May I also please get clarification on a portfolio? Do they, is it for images, like if it's portrait, it has to be for people, or could it be a man, a dog, a child, and a bot? Yeah, like what? May I ask what makes a portfolio, please?
4 individual images.
Of anything?
For the one category?
Yeah.
For the one
In a category.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they don't have to be related in any way. Could have been
No.
a different day, different job,
Different people, different.
Oh, yeah.
So if you could photograph a car, a building, a person, and a dog. Now they will end up in all different categories. So you're not going to win any categories, but you might score best print for some of those.
Wait, what? Do you need to have a portfolio for a
That's-
category to win a category?
You do.
Okay.
So that's not a folio, that's 4 individual prints. Okay?
So you're
So
talking
if you-
more-
if you're looking for
No,
subcategories,
this is a bit too complicated for
Yeah,
my
yeah.
Monday night
Absolutely.
brain.
If you've got 4 prints,
Yeah,
you can enter. If you've got 6 prints, you can enter them all,
yeah,
but not as a folio.
okay.
So what is a photo?
But you
What
can't
will
win,
categorise
but
it?
you can't win, that's what.
4 prints.
Of the same thing?
Same
category?
Just 4 prints. That fit within a
The
category.
category has to be 4 images in the one category, which creates the
Right. Okay. So 4 sport, 4 boudoir, 4...
Yeah.
So what's the max?
Yeah.
So what's the max amount of images you can enter in the whole competition? Then?
Yeah.
Oh, quite a lot. Because
So that
you can
means-
enter
I can
4
pay $80 to go
individual.
though.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to understand a bit more about the concept.
Yeah. So,
only one
so say portrait has 4 subcategories.
So you can go 4 in each subcategory. Ah, or you can go 1 in each subcategory.
Well, yes, you can.
But if you only go
that
one,
would still be a
you can't
portfolio?
win the overall thing, you can only win
Well,
best
if you
print.
entered 4
What?
prints,
Yeah.
that, you won't win a subcategory, but you could win the category.
Because it's still in the same category.
still 4 prints
Oh.
So it has to be at least 4
I need
in
finger
a
puppets.
category.
in the category. To
So,
win the category.
yeah, as long as
To
you
win a
have
category.
So you've got portraits,
Yeah.
category, and then you've got all the subcategories under portraits.
Yeah.
I've got one
If
in
you've got
each
full
of those
print, yeah, if you've got one in
subcategories.
each, that's
That's
still a portfolio because
a
it's still.
portfolio.
Oh, in that category.
Yeah.
So I don't need 4 to win a subcategory of people.
No, yeah. So you could have a portrait of a dog, a portrait of a person, and a portrait of something else. And so you've got 4, and they're each in a subcategory, but they're under the portraits.
So you could then enter 4 in one category, 4 in the next category, 4 in the next category, 4 in the next
They
category.
have the monies, man.
Yeah.
Just keep on
Just
straight
like-
away.
yeah.
That's
You're
it.
doing it right.
Yeah, basically,
Stupid rules.
Right.
I feel like that's a little bit overcomplicated. Can we get past
I was a little bit confused there, so
Obviously,
I understand.
if you've entered
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think I'm still a bit
I'm used to most competitions are like 5 bats.
Yeah, and we're done. Pick your category, and that's
Yeah,
that.
you got 5 picky categories.
Yeah.
Right. So like, this is a different concept.
Yeah.
So you become a category winner all
Thank you.
Very very expensive if
that
you
mean
want to
all
add.
four?
If you want to add all of them.
Was it $80 $80 a port?
Oh, for a member.
Is it aid for a member?
Yeah, so you get 4.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's 20
Yeah.
bucks.
But then still all
Yeah,
smart.
So you need a mix.
So if we get 3 10s, it was 6. Then and the
So
4
you have to get an average point. You have to get an average point average to get.
Ah.
Wait, what? Have we missed
So-
something?
Where were we missing?
So the bit I was getting confused with is, well, if you're entering 4 prints, 4 images, how are you getting selected into like the finalist thing?
Yeah.
So you get an average point score across your 4 images when they get scored.
Oh, it's about the 4 then combined.
That's from what I'm hearing. So it's your combined score that what gets you through to as a folio finalist. There you
So
go.
you've got
So
to,
let's say, for instance, you may have 4 images in portrait. You get a 10, and then you get
For a
3
dog?
threes.
and
Yeah.
then
The
3
last
threes
you
for
print
people.
the 1 print. Your folio is not a finalist.
But you
but
print.
Oh, so there's a different category winner. You can do it.
Yeah.
So there's a category winner for the portfolio.
And just for print.
Folio winner.
Yeah.
A folio is the category winner. For a folio,
Oh.
the category winner will be a folio.
Folio.
of 4
Okay.
images,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And a best print is obviously a solo print.
Yeah,
So if
okay.
you've got 1 print, 1 cracking print,
You can
you
still
can
win.
never win the category, but you can win best print.
Oh, so
Because you
so
need
in
to-
each one there's a best print and there's a category winner.
Category winner.
Yeah, because you need to become a category winner, you need to have all of your prints need to be good, that you've got an average point score that gets them all printed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and the prize winner is the category winner,
Yeah.
and best print gets a certificate.
I think.
Okay.
And
So you have to have 4 images
Okay.
in the category to win the category to be the prize winner.
bus fare home.
Yeah.
And then there's 6 or 5 categories, and of that, those winners
Yes.
then go into a room, and the judge judges the overall winner.
Oh. Which will be the Izzy Award.
No,
No, that's a
You're
Oh,
a good enough photographer. You don't want easy. Come on.
No, I'm just trying to understand, but
Come on.
So the category winners
yeah.
will then go into
the
a
category
room.
winner, but you're always a portfolio.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you need to get an average point score.
Okay.
It's great how visual we are.
You
We
just
just
sign it.
explain we are doing things like that.
Single portfolio.
Yes.
So anyone
People.
people.
So
But now I'm like, I could answer a few categories.
Yes.
Like, oh,
if there's a landscape shot in fine art, it's also eligible for the
urban, or is it for
It's best landscape
to make a
environment.
environment?
right?
So,
Sure.
yeah, just so, you could, for example, just to make sure I understand the question, you could have 4 prints as folios in each of those,
Yeah,
or you could have 1 print in each of those.
yes, and it would then be an environmental portfolio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not going to win anything there, but if it's good enough, you could
Still
win
be
Environment Photographer of the Year Award.
Wait, what?
Basically, take out.
They just explain all
That's
this.
exactly what we just spoke
But we
about.
just said you're not going to win anything there.
No, if you have 1 in each,
So, yeah,
then you
so
can't
if
win
you
a
have one in
you
each,
can't win a
you
subcategory,
wouldn't
but there's
win
no
the
prize.
subcategory of.
There's no prize.
You need.
But your portfolio can still get through to win the big one, the main one. The one you want to win.
So the main one is just based off 1 image then?
Huh?
The main one is just based off 1 image.
Based off your portfolio.
Yeah.
Even
And basically, the
areas
overall
say
winner
Yes.
Only the best print.
will either be,
Yeah, the overall winner is just 1 image.
no, overall is 4 images, but the overall will either be the portrait photographer winner, the landscape, environment photographer winner, the wedding one, the fine art, whatever the other ones are. So
Okay.
the winner of
Yes.
the categories, the
Yeah.
winners of the categories then go on to see out of those, which is the best,
And these are the
that's
questions
the
I have
overall,
when I'm
Which
reading
is called?
$3,000 cash,
the answers.
for photographer of the year.
Okay. Cool.
It has to be a portfolio.
Has to be.
$3,000 cash. The Izzy Award is a single image.
I'm thinking from this other thing.
The
Of
Izzy Award is of a person.
And the Richards Award's a landscape.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
If I enter and I somehow fuck that up,
Like I've entered 4 images and it should have been a thing and I haven't, and then I'm not eligible to do it. Will somebody tell me so I can fix it? Do you know what I mean? Like if I've ticked a wrong box and they've gone, like, look, actually there you've got a portfolio and you've ticked the wrong box. But
no, you can't really fuck it up, to be quite frank, because we've just done a test of the thing. And basically, as you upload an image, it says which category and which subcategory. And you can say category, portrait, subcategory, general, pets, newborn. So basically, you can't fuck it up. Either way, you've got to allocate something to that image.
Except
regardless.
if I enter 4, let's say I want to do a portfolio, and I've misunderstood this trickle-down situation here.
Yep.
And I've gone, well, this portrait looks like a fine art portrait. This portrait I'm entering into a portrait. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And then I fucked it up because I've got 3 here in my portrait, and this portrait I've accidentally put in the fine art portrait.
Yep. Okay.
And then you guys go like, nah.
Doesn't look right.
Is there a fine art portrait though?
There isn't a fine art portrait. There's just a fine art.
Or fine art, but I put my portrait in a fine art category.
Yeah.
And then you guys go, oh, she hasn't entered a whole thing.
We'd probably look
Is
at
someone's
that
gonna go
doesn't
like-
look right.
Yeah.
We would probably.
Please help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're unsure, ask. But honestly, when you're uploading, we tested it. You can't really stuff it up.
Well, you can
like-
stuff it up if you do what I just did.
And
And which
actual
I'm
fact,
likely to
there is
do.
a full proof. There is actually full proof because when you name your images, it's portrait Kelly Barker 01, portrait Kelly Barker 02. So if you've uploaded something to the fine art category and we're like, it's called portrait, that's not right, we could probably genuinely.
So, but there will
Figure
be
that
some
out.
sense of like you'll need to enter 4 to make the portfolio. So, but what I might do is go fine art, Marty Richardson 1, portrait, Marty Richardson 2, portrait, Marty Richardson 2, and put them in the different things, which doesn't make a 4 entry.
No, it does not.
So what I would like to know is will somebody somehow go, because I've misunderstood how to enter, because it seems a little complicated for my pea brain.
Okay.
Will somebody on the other side go like, shit.
But if you've named it fine art, then we'll expect that to go into the fine art category. So don't name it that. If you've
Because
got your
I'm putting in the
images
fine art
of
category,
4.
not understanding that I need 4 in the one. Does that make sense? Is that
Yeah.
really clear on the website though? Because I put in 4, so I think I've done a portfolio.
When you come to
Does that make sense?
It's hard for you to answer as well. Like somebody, because what if you have 1,000?
That's right.
I would go like, I put in 4 and put in my portfolio. They just happen to go across.
Because obviously in a portrait category you can't have manipulated.
I know I can. I'm not going to be the
Because
only
otherwise
one
it'd be
who's
fine.
thinking I've done it.
Here's what
Well, you could just say
So I think a portfolio is, I've just been in
Fine
photos.
art, so that's great.
Yeah,
This
when
is
you
the
go
first time to have a big
Yeah.
the first thing you
very
choose is
your
which
portfolio,
category
and
you
then
make
your
entry.
portfolio gets put up at the end.
Tick that
There's
box.
other people's portfolio.
And
the category.
only the option for that
Yeah.
category will present.
Okay.
So you can't accidentally enter it into the wrong category.
Okay.
Once you've done that, for each image, you can then choose which subcategory that you want to put it in.
But my portfolio has to sit under that first category.
That's coming up next.
You can't,
So once you
unless you,
remember,
what you could do
can then be
is choose
accredited,
3
that is
categories and stick a print in each of them. But it's pretty obvious if you're doing that.
it would do
Yeah, but
well,
I guess my question is, if I
what
had
it
to come
is.
tonight,
So basically for that,
and I
it's
have
This is my
marketing.
second.
potentially I'm very busy and I've gone like, shit, the deadline's today.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to enter 4 images to make a portfolio. And I've entered 4 images, even though they're single images in different categories, whatever, I've done 3 into portrait, 1 into fine art, let's say.
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything
It's
that
kind of hard because what you need to do is first of all, when you go to upload, before you can upload anything, you choose your categories. Now, if you do happen to choose 2 categories to stick the images in, then you kind of mucking yourself up. Like
So
you're
it
making a
says
real
at the
effort there.
beginning, do you want to enter single images or a portfolio? Is that my
First
first
thing-
question?
no, first question you ask is which category do you want to enter? That's the first question. So what mean examples?
So, like I was saying, let's say I've got 4 portraits.
Yep.
But 1 I've made super special and I want to enter that into fine art. But I've got 4 portraits, so I think I've made a portfolio.
Well, that super special one is not going in the portrait category, it's a fine art piece.
correct.
Yeah.
But I think I've made a portfolio because I'm entering 4 images.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in my head, I'm like, great, I'm entering the 4 images, tick. They're all the people, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm entering one into fine art, so I've done some extra photoshopping on it, whatever. And these ones are going into portrait.
Right. A completely different set of rules for both.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I accidentally not quite understanding.
I'm not sure because you'll check fine art, so you're going to choose fine art for one image.
Yeah.
And then check portrait for the other 3.
Yeah.
And so this is a rather concerted effort you're going to make to enter that into fine art, and then you go down to the portrait bit and enter the 3 into there.
The only question, I haven't been through assistant, so I don't know how it works. But the only thing is that is there somewhere at the beginning that says the 4 of your portfolio have to go in that one category, in the same category? Does that make sense?
To win.
To make a portfolio.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Well, it's not really a portfolio, it's really 4 individual images, technically. But I know.
Do you take my point? That's right.
Absolutely, and I'm taking note of it, because this is going on the frequently asked questions thing. If I enter 4 images across multiple categories, does it still qualify to win something?
Does it still
And we
qualify
can
as a
go,
portfolio?
no.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is really a good conversation.
Only because they do the same subject matter, the same sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I'm not going to do that, I'm going to just an example.
Yeah, but it's good hypothetical.
Okay.
We're going to wind up this section, guys. If there's no more questions, we're going to have a 5-minute break.
If anyone wants to talk about break, and then we'll talk about accreditation.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Well,
do
good.
accreditation?
Okay. So that's
adding stuff on top of those photos to get that look. He didn't take that because he's adding all the images.
What do you shoot?
Yeah, 2 categories.
No, I could still go
That one image is one image.